I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why you may not want to get the upgraded Tesla Model Y refresh. And one of the reasons, the main reasons, is going to be battery technology. Like if you're the first in your friend group, your family, to get an EV, one of the first things people are going to ask you or have asked you is the battery. Like, how many miles can you go on a full charge? That's a conversation for a different time because that's a misplaced question. Notwithstanding, in the last couple of years, last decade even, like thing that everyone's chasing, battery technologists, is increasing drivable range and charging speed. And more you're seeing this occur across companies. Tesla did a great job, right? And that's why they were the leader or standard bearer for a really long time, because they were able to create a battery, the motor system, so that you can drive a vehicle. The published estimated range 300 miles. In reality, you're probably getting like 250, 270. But for most people, especially if you're carrying pets or a family, like, hey, after 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours driving, you may want to get out, stretch your legs, use the bathroom, replenish a drink. So it kind of works out. But increasingly, more and more companies are out there trying to increase the energy density of batteries, right? So to increase the drivable range, right? As well as the charging speeds. Recently, in the last couple of years, for instance, there are a number of companies that popped up. One of them, Factorial Energy, they're actually partnered with Mercedes-Benz as well as the Stellantis group. And even recently, in the last year or so, they've actually got prototypes that they're testing for real world driving conditions. Obviously, for safety reasons, they need to make sure that the battery is functioning. The goal is within the next couple of years, we may be seeing that kind of technology, solid state batteries, inside of mass produced vehicles. And that's going to increase the drivable range. Right now, they're targeting 600 miles per charge on a full battery, as well as improving the speed so that when you do go to charge, no longer is it like 30 to 40 minutes to get to 80%. You can do that in 10 minutes, which makes it on par with like filling up your gas tank. And so number one is going to be battery technology. For me, it's already a way of my life. When you're driving on a road trip, to head to a supercharging station, you plug in, you go do what you got to do. By the time you come back, you're ready to go. So it's not really an impediment to your road trips. If you're someone who doesn't have a charger at home, like drivable range is something that's going to matter, as well as charging speed, so that you don't have to like spend twice a week during your lunch hour like I used to with my Model 3 to go charge up for the week at a supercharger, public charging station. So number one is going to be battery technology. Hopefully, as we're seeing more and more of these press releases in the news, that this particularly solid state technology, solid state batteries come to life, and we start seeing them in our vehicles in the next year or 2 years. Which leads us, when we're talking about batteries, the second part of that, reason number two, is going to be charging infrastructure. So one of those things, it's not just the number of charges, but it's also the charging speed. We see now, I mean, I've been driving Teslas now, or my Model 3 I picked up in 21. So I've been driving for the last 4 years an electric vehicle. If you find a station, a supercharging station that's the urban chargers, the 72 kilowatts, you're pulling your hair out because it's at this point so slow. The ability of chargers, more companies putting out chargers, fast charging stations around the country and around the world, you kind of get used to that. So now you always look for, at least in a Tesla, I'm looking for the 250 kilowatt chargers, because I know the 72 kilowatt chargers are there. I know they're going to be available. Even the 125, 150 kilowatt chargers, most people try to avoid it. They go to the 250 kilowatt chargers because if you get there with like 2% charge, you know you're going to hit that 250 kilowatt and sustain it for a really long period of time. So faster chargers are one thing, including as well as the number of chargers available. And then also just generally charging technology. If you look at reports and news articles from China, particularly, you're seeing things like wireless charging already being deployed, battery swapping stations. Neo Technologies has a really cool capability that they built battery swapping stations. So you pull in, it's almost like a car wash. You pull into a swapping station. It's fully automated. The thing underneath like unscrews your battery and then replaces with a brand new battery. So battery swapping stations. My Tesla Model 3, Model Y that I have doesn't have the capacity to wireless charge and doesn't have the ability to battery swap in the future. So these are things why maybe in the next year, 2 years, like if we start seeing these technologies passing or getting through the development cycle and coming into production for mass market vehicles, like these are technologies that I'd want particularly in my next vehicle. So battery speed, battery capacity, and the charging infrastructure all matter if you're thinking about moving to the 2025 Juniper Model Y or something else as well. Number three is going to be the powertrain. And this is really cool too. Maybe not like as impactful, but still impactful. And one of the reasons why Tesla was able to jump ahead of the curve is because of the motor that they designed. They designed a really powerful motor. That's why, especially early on, you saw all the news about 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. It blew everyone's mind that, they were able to develop an electric motor that generated this much torque. But we're starting to see, like, Hyundai recently developed it's a wheel in hub motor. So instead of having, like, in engineering, right? And I'm not an engineer, but in engineering, the more parts you have, right, there's more joints, and every time you add a joint, like, there's less efficiency. Your system becomes less and less efficient. So what the news that Hyundai has is that they've developed the motor right now. Like, you have your traditional motor, and then the 2 wheels sit on the side. So you got joints attaching the wheels, and the power gets distributed that way. So you're losing efficiency. They've developed a powertrain where the motors actually sit in the wheel, and so all the powers, or it's more efficient to have the powertrain, the motor, directly in the wheel as opposed to in the middle and then spread with arms. So this is really cool in that it's going to probably reduce cost, become more efficient, right? Your battery is going to last longer just because you're going to have more power to the wheels. Four-wheel drive is going to be that much more powerful. So another reason why in the near future is going to be the powertrain. As you see more and more and better motor technologies being developed, you'd want that to sort of buffer yourself from your technology no longer being usable. Another reason is going to be autonomous driving. But the reason I bring this up is because, for instance, a lot of Tesla owners, even before me, right? Hardware 3 and before, they were all promised this idea that full self-driving is going to come to every vehicle. And in the last couple of years, we've seen Tesla, Elon Musk particularly, walk back from that and even admit that some of the hardware, cameras, and the computers inside of the vehicle may not be powerful enough to operate full self-driving as it needs to be, even right now. And this is being recorded May of 2025. So whether or not those owners are going to be eligible for a retrofit, whether Tesla's going to do that, or just say, you know what, tough luck, we weren't able to do it, you have to have certain kind of hardware. Like, hardware depreciates relatively quickly as in the computing world. And so for autonomous driving, and that's something that you want. Like, even myself, my Tesla Model Y has hardware 4, and that's already 2 years old. So who knows if full self-driving or other companies or other competitors who have, like, their full self-driving suite, autonomous driving suite, the computers and the cameras and the processing power that you have in your vehicle, even the Juniper version, whether or not that's going to be sufficient to fully operate full self-driving moving forward. So if full self-driving is on your plate, like, I really want that to work, you got to make sure you understand the hardware capabilities and how long that's going to get you. So autonomous driving, again, it's something that, if I'm thinking about it, if you're thinking like me and saying, you know what, I think every company has some version of, like, autonomous driving, and at some point it's going to come together where it's going to be a reality, then you just want to maybe wait a cycle for hardware that's more capable, as well as it works with the model that then exists. All right, so autonomous driving is going to be reason number 4. And then reason number 5 is just going to be generally cost. I mean, hopefully the cost, as you see, it's a lot of efficiencies, it's a lot of reducing waste, it's a lot of trying to reduce. Tesla's done a great job of this with their gigacasting, reducing, like, the parts from, like, 70 to 1 with gigacasting, 200 parts to, like, 5. And as more and more companies do this and try to find ways to be more efficient with EVs, we should hopefully, as consumers, see the cost decrease generally. And that's going to be particularly with battery technology. That's probably one of the heaviest costs in electric vehicles. But if we can see more and more research, development, and production in that, hopefully we see the cost come down. So there you go. 5 reasons why, I mean, if I'm constrained by a budget, I think I'm going to hold off on getting the 2025 Model Y. Again, it's going to be battery capacity, the range, charging speed, charging infrastructure, the powertrain, autonomous driving hardware, and then finally the cost. Again, I'm just being frank with you. If I had the budget, I'd probably make the switch. I think there are enough improvements of this new Juniper refresh over the old Model Y that even if you got, like, a relatively new one, it probably makes sense, and the pricing is really dope. But if you're constrained by a budget like I am, probably makes sense to wait at least a cycle to see where the hardware technology is at that point. Notwithstanding, I'd love to know what you think. Drop your comments below. Think I'm crazy? Love to know that as well. Also, if you are looking to purchase a Tesla, I leave my referral link in the description below. Anytime you purchase a Tesla using someone's referral code, you get, like, a discount. They're offering, I think right now, it might be like $500 off or something like that, plus full self-driving for like 3 months. So you get some extra perks. I get rewarded with like, they have a shop that you can collect points, so I'll probably get like a t-shirt or something like that. So I really appreciate if you are looking to buy a Tesla to use my referral link in the code below. And until next time, take care, be well, bye for now.